Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views in which they take of them. Is it a good idea to force yourself to be positive? Will faking it till you make it really work? You want to be happier and more positive version of yourself? Of course, most people do. The self-help industry is worth almost $10 billion. It is true, positive thinking has great power. Without the right mindset, it is impossible to accomplish anything. You, in fact, need this mindset to overcome negative emotions and develop productive habits. In order to do this, you need to have a positive attitude. This is a key fundamental of self-improvement. Stoicism believes it is better to have a positive mindset opposed to a negative one. However, it takes a lot of control and practice to develop a positive mindset. Faking it till you make it just doesn't work. On the contrary, it's quite dangerous. We need to understand the harm of ignoring negativity and not properly processing grief and stress. Being positive all the time and suppressing negative feelings is toxic and doing more harm than good. To remain positive in the face of adversity is not natural. It takes time, deep reflection of who you are at a subconscious level to understand how you process negativity. That's right, process negativity is not just suppressing it. It is the key difference between being a toxic time bomb with a charming smile and a great attitude, or becoming an emotionally intelligent and complete person. Let me show you the difference between a toxic positivity and true positivity. Someone who has toxic positivity is always positive, or at least trying to be positive on the surface. Someone who insists on staying positive while denying pain, sorrow, and the uncertainties of life. Someone who says they don't want to be part of anything negative. They don't want to hear bad things at all. Forcing themselves to wear a mask of positivity at all times. Carl Jung calls this a persona. A persona is a mask that people wear as a compromise with society, so they will be viewed as what they think societies or others want them to be. The reason a person would do this is to suppress not only the understanding of negative traits, but the high traits they have received negative feedback about in the past. Jung states that everyone adopts a persona, and most people over-identify with this mask, which keeps them from understanding their true self. Over-identifying with a positive persona can be even further detriment to a person because it not only prevents that person from understanding their true self, but will not allow them to process or vent negative emotions, turning a person into an overly happy pressure cooker of unprocessed feelings. The world is made up of good and bad. Some people reject bad vibes, and this denies them the reality of 50% of the world. This denial of a dark side in general, or specifically their own dark side, which Carl Jung suggests everyone carries with them, no matter how much a persona tries to suppress it. If you don't acknowledge your dark side, then there's no way of venting. This attempt to force positivity by rejecting negativity can only result in an uncontrolled venting. This will result in something in your psyche breaking down. It is toxic and unnatural when somebody ignores feelings of pain, sorrow, anxiety, and anger by emotionally trying to blanket it with a veneer of positivity. These feelings manifest in your body, creating a buildup of unaddressed issues. No matter how strong of a person you are, this will begin to leak out, creating a monster that will surface when least expected. When a person's dark side isn't addressed, people tend to project these suppressed negative traits onto others. For example, someone might be under a lot of financial stress and say things like, "It is what it is," or, "Bah, it's just money." But then in turn, they condemn others or criticize them for spending frivolously. True positivity is being positive or trying to remain positive while accepting events at face value, acknowledging negative aspects of these events and allowing room for them to exist within your psyche. For example, someone close to you has passed away and you will need to be sad and you need to grieve. It is part of the healing process. This process will take as long as it takes. You might have times when you feel fine, or you might even feel upbeat during this process, but then quickly relapse into sadness. This is perfectly normal, and you should allow for these swings in moods. Trying to ignore this or hurry the process can be very toxic. Know that you can be a positive person. It is still okay to feel sad, angry, or grieve, or lose motivation from time to time. Instead of saying things like, get over it, or just move on, you should say, I understand this is difficult, but I know I have coped with harder stuff in the past, or stuff that is just as hard, and I will have the strength to cope with this, and whatever comes to me in the future, I will have that strength as well. The goal of everyone should be the realization of their whole self, therefore embracing all aspects of themselves, positive traits, and their dark side. Better to try to understand negativity as it is happening rather than try to suppress it and hope that it goes away. Best to deal with it and move through it rather than try to distract from it and avoid it. Stoicism advocates for self-control through mastery of oneself, not the suppression of feelings just to appear more stoic. A positive mindset can't be forced by saying, think happy thoughts. It just won't work. A positive mindset needs to grow naturally. We can cultivate better mindsets by pursuing virtues of Stoicism or other schools of thought that focus on self-improvement through self-investigation and self-reflection. This takes time and effort. We become better by practicing what we know. We know better through learning. We cannot change anything unless we accept it. Carl Jung.